Captain's Log Supplemental.
Hey Jeremy, you know those race cars you're busy building?
Yeah, I do. I
You,
got one
you
that I'm looking at every day.
you know what I don't see you working on?
You don't see me working on the amazing Sentinel system yet.
That's true. It would take all of 10 minutes for you to have one.
And it's very quick and easy to install.
It is. It is. And we could watch you when we are not at the race with you and see how you're doing. And then we can call you up when you get out of the car and tell you everything you did wrong.
And I love that because so many years I've been driving and not been able to see what I'm doing.
I know.
And now we can.
I know. You know what I'd like to do with the video? My most favorite thing is I take the video and I load it on YouTube and then I send it to my coach and say, look at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. Look at this one lap and tell me what I can do better. And every single time, you know what they say?
Everything.
Exactly. Precisely. So with the Sentinel system, you get instantaneous feedback plus useful feedback that unfortunately is accurate for my driving.
I think it's accurate for all of our driving.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. But you need to get one in your car, sir.
Yes, I do. And with the discount code that you're going to tell everybody, they can save 10% on this awesome system.
Yep. Trouble free. I haven't had an issue getting video every time we've gone out with the Sentinel. It's always worked. Can't say the same for some of the other systems we've tried. So I don't know. It's on the podcast notes down there. Don't do it while you're driving, though. We like to have our listeners live. It's good.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
And then you were silly enough to say you wanted to do goals for the year. So are you prepared?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I have.
You're
I have.
always
I have.
good.
I have them written down. Actually,
Oh my goodness. A guest who's prepared. What are we going to do?
amazing, right?
I didn't know that happened.
Woohoo.
I can't get a host to prepare. Never mind a guest.
Oh,
All right. Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for this episode. My name is Bill. Who else is hosting?
Vicki.
That's right. Look at that. Full of energy of the new year. Miss Vicki, we have a new guest.
Yes, we do.
Hasn't been on before.
Nope.
Wrote me and said, hey, you said you wanted listener emails about goals. And I said, well, not just an email, because you have won the lottery, sir.
hello.
Did you bring
Right.
your goals?
I have goals, and they are in fact written down. So, I'm one of those people who write
Well,
stuff down.
Of the three people on this podcast, you're the only one who's prepared.
I win the preparedness game, I guess.
I guess so. No, we have our Google Doc. It is traditional. We have one. Sometimes they're better than others. This one's not bad. So, sir, besides obviously making silly decisions and writing into podcasts saying, hey, I've got goals, let's talk about them. In case people aren't familiar with you, how about a little bit of background? Maybe what you're doing? How's your racing going? Family, personal, whatever?
Yeah. So a little bit of background. I guess motorsports background is started out in autocross 2013, 12, something like
wow.
that. I don't know. Yeah. And then late 2018, I got a wild bug and signed up for an HPDE and went to the track with my M3 and burnt up the brakes by the end of the day. And,
Oh,
yeah.
That happens.
But by the end of the day, I was like, this is this is fun. I want to do more of this. And now here I am all these years later doing endurance racing and now time trials at Grid Life because that seemed like a good idea for some reason. And yeah, doing
Right.
all the things.
So
So,
not only did you take your M3 on track, not only did you realize that, hey, my brake pads went through, the thought that never occurred to you is, wow, I went through brake pads in one day. Perhaps this
why
is
is that?
perhaps this
What
will
did I
be
do to
expensive.
myself?
Yeah.
But no, that thought never occurred to you, right?
No, absolutely not. Of course not. Why would that happen?
Perfection.
Yeah.
Hooked another one.
Yep. Yeah. It's
That's
a
great.
sickness. It spreads.
Does.
So, what leagues do you run in mostly?
Um, gosh, good question. Right now, I've done on the endurance side, I've only done AR, and then I've run with SCCA, NASA here in the Mid Atlantic region where I'm at, and then the last 2 years started doing grid life stuff. So
Nice. So that gives me two questions. One, since you're mid-Atlantic, does that mean you know Con?
I have not met Con. I've seen his car go by a couple times, but I have not met Con.
All right. All right. Well, we'll give you homework. That'll be one of your goals for this year. And which grid lives have you been doing?
Let's see. Last year I was at CMP, Lime Rock, and Pit Race.
Nice. Nice. Those are, we wanted to go to two of those and we didn't because we were sick for one of those, but we did make it to pit race. So I got to watch my car sit in the paddock for the entire weekend. It was
I think I
great.
saw it in the packet at one point for the weekend.
All you had to do was see it there once. It didn't move the rest of the weekend. Actually, no, I drove it around a lot, a couple times with outdoors. I got some looks, but that's a different story. So, you have a team that you race with fairly often, or are you kind of a nomad and go wherever you can?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago I joined a endurance team called Warriors to Racers. We're all at the time it was all veteran, now it's veterans and first responders endurance racing team. Um and I've done a couple of endurance races with them. We've had some I'll call them technical difficulties with our endurance car.
Oh, Gremlins? Is your car loaded down with gremlins? Little hairy
You'll
things running
Vicky,
through?
you'll relate to this. It's a Miata with
Absolutely.
gremlins.
Gremlins.
It's got a whole flock of gremlins. They just come in the night and turn stuff off, and you come back in the morning and stuff doesn't work magically. I don't know why.
And you
It's
said that you're driving a Miata?
Yeah, we have an NA Miata. That's our endurance car.
Okay. All right. Because you mentioned M3.
that was the
Yeah,
HPD.
that
Oh,
unfortunately
that was the HPDE.
yeah,
Okay.
that was the HPD, and that car unfortunately died. But yes, now it's just a straight E46 330. So
Well,
So how do you like the Miata?
Miata's always fun. I mean, it's just as much put to
Like
the
a
floor as
go-kart almost.
humanly possible. Yeah, it's a go kart, and you almost don't need the brakes.
Yeah,
You
right.
just
You
lift,
just
turn,
push
fine.
through. That's right.
did you get your hammer out and pound in the floor well a little bit more so you have more throttle?
I mean, that's
Don't listen
not
to
a
him.
bad idea.
Don't listen.
Always use a little more throttle. So AER with a NA Miata, please say it's a 1.8.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Although the two cars I've run in AER with have not been that Miata. That Miata
Okay.
has not actually seen. Actually, a couple different teams. One was a '98 Integra, and another was this was an interesting one. It was a 1989 Mercedes E-Class.
89. Was that Darren's car?
I believe so. Yes.
We know that car. We've been passed by that car.
Yeah. It's a tank. It's a
Mhm.
it's a food to drive, but it's a tank.
It is. It just keeps going though. It rolls over everybody. But I was
Yeah,
going to say
'cause
you're bringing a
it's-
water pistol to a
you have to
gunfight.
you have to understand momentum a lot with that car because you huck it into the corner, it's just going to keep going.
Hmm.
I mean, the QE2 turn too. It just took a little longer. Mhm.
So you just kind of just woke up one day and was just like, I am going to do this. Just because it's It takes a special person to say, you know what, I'm going to take my car and put it on a track and drive it to the wall and back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to hold on and pucker as I'm going around the corners as best I can. There's something that clicks inside you and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. So what was that decision for you?
Great question. It was always kind of a thing in the back of the mind when I was autocrossing, you would hear this phrase. It's like if you go to the track, you don't come back, which kind of is true.
It is kind of true.
It kind of is true. If you're autocrossing and then you go to the track, it's like you can't go back to the farm after you see Paris. It's like, no, you're not going to do that again anymore. And I really haven't been back to autocross since. But yeah, it was always kind of one of those things like, yeah, I should do that someday. And then it was literally just one morning. It's like, I don't know if I saw something in my email or something popped in and I saw the SCCA event. And I was like, okay, sure. It's only an hour from my house. I can drive down there. What's one Saturday? It's fine.
Right.
And then one Saturday.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? 5 years later, here we are.
5 years later in a smaller bank account.
Oh yeah, that is legit.
We don't talk about what goes on in Vegas.
Yeah, no. That stays in Vegas very much so. My bank accounts.
100%. So let's see. So you did, was it an HPD or just an open track day, or what was your first one?
Yeah, the first one was it was SCCA. It was at Dominion Raceway, and they had basically it was an HPDE, so instructor in car, so all that good stuff.
So you did autocross for a bit, then you did the HPDE, and then how did you get to eventually start going on track for like racing?
Yeah, so I did the one event, and then in 2019, I think I did 2 or 3. I did my first NASA event at VIR that year and fell in love with VIR. So I try and get there. I make a point to be in VIR at least once every year because I absolutely love that track.
We make a point to try to get to VIR every year, but this year we're going to do it. We've already paid. We're going.
We've already paid, so we have to now.
There you go.
We keep talking to get there.
It's so great. I can't.
What is it about VIR that you like? I haven't been there, so I barely even know what the track looks like.
Well, number one, it's beautiful. I mean, it's basically if you will listen to Con's podcast with Peter Krause, it was literally a dude on a Caterpillar tractor that drove up the side of a hill.
Okay.
And it's just absolutely the track itself is absolutely gorgeous, but it's like driving the track. It's got so much challenge and nuance to it. Like there's no way to master it, in my opinion. Like there are corners like Oak Tree where there's 1,000 ways through the quarter and 980 of them are wrong.
Oh, okay.
So Ben says
they're kind of right, but they're slow.
Right.
Yeah. So Ben says VIR is kind of like pit race, only bigger and better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like pit race a lot. I really enjoy it.
Bigger?
Bigger.
Sorry?
VIR is bigger than pit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pit's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're standing at the bottom of VIR, I think it's a full it's over 3 mile long racetrack. Mm-hmm. You can't see the top.
Oh, I didn't know that it was that big.
Yeah, if you're standing in the paddock at the bottom of on the front straight of VIR, you cannot see Oak Tree.
Now she might come.
Huge.
But anyway,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
You've got 5.5 more months before you get too excited. So
yeah.
And just in case for those keeping home game scorecard, we have 0 race cars ready to go.
We have 0 race cars ready.
I mean, that's
none.
Join the club.
Unless Vicki goes solo in her Miata, which is made so I guess Jennifer could ride in it. So you want to do an all ladies team 2-man it?
Yeah.
We ain't going unless we start hitting the garage again.
I know.
Anyway, That's depressing. All right. Well, let's. Oh man, I'm distracted now. Anyway,
Uh,
so you chose your M3 probably because it was your daily or your fun daily, whatever.
Yeah, it was my fun. It was my fun car.
Yep. How do you choose your other cars? And sometimes we have to ask why, not just how.
Um, Trying to think of a good. So I mean, I've. Yeah, so it's like fun car, and then also like I had a Suburban before the car I have now. Now I have a Dodge Durango, so it's like practical SUV type thing, and then fun thing that can go around corners real fast.
Hmm. Okay. Can't complain about those. I like turns. That's half the reason we don't do drag racing yet. We will. I'm sure. I'm sure we'll come up with a way. But it'll be fun. Miss Vicky, your favorite question?
yeah. So, how many years you been racing, roughly?
I mean, officially racing like two, like racing has been like two.
Okay.
Track like
And
12.
you've been working on your track skills for how many years?
Properly since about 2019, so
Okay.
6 years now. Gosh.
Okay.
Although I don't know if you count the COVID year, that was a little bit weird.
COVID weird. It was kind of weird.
I actually set my most number of track days in a year in COVID year.
I'll believe that.
Mm,
Miss Miss
yeah.
Miss Vicky said, "I'm staying home. You go out,"
Yeah, that's right.
and I did,
Come back in one piece.
and I did. Well,
Yeah.
most of that, the car didn't come back in one piece a couple times, but
Yeah, that's right.
that's a different story.
So do you have anything that you beef yourself up with when you hop in the car? Any mottos or, do you have a thought process when you get in?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think you realize when you start moving from like DE days to actual like live competition is like the nerves you have before you get in a car. And one of the things that I do is there's a breathing exercise that I do that kind of helps me calm down a little bit before I get in the car and like, kind of focus on the moment and the task and all that stuff, and then
Hmm.
go.
I came up with a new one this year.
What's that?
Don't do what Jeremy does.
Why?
That's my mantra.
Oh, just don't do what Jeremy did.
Wow, go crickets. All right, fine.
Ah,
But that was my transition.
all right.
It didn't work very well, but that's
Yeah.
okay. So, before we get into your goals for next year, what are let's get a little bit more into the racing with veterans aspect
Hmm.
of your team. Noble, love it. Can't wait to see it. Love seeing it everywhere. I mean, there's a few of those teams across the country. So, what is your team's structure and how do you go about racing?
Um, yeah, so we've got Ed, who's kind of our overall team lead. He's the Warriors to Racers director, and then we have a driver development side and a crew development side as well. So I'm on the driver development side, and then we have folks like my friend Jake, who is our kind of our crew chief, and anyone who wants to get into the mechanical side of cars, learning how to work on them, that sort of thing. We have, people that have opportunities to go and, work on as a crew on various endurance races and stuff like that. We actually this last year got an opportunity, myself and three others, to go down to the Baja 1000
Oh wow,
as crew for that team. So that was a wild experience. That was a lot of fun. It was incredible.
awesome. That's on our list. Of course, I don't know many things that we haven't done that aren't on our list, but that's a different story. It's like, do you want to? Yes. Just haven't.
Does this
Just may
involve
not
speed?
have.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, I'm anxious about the current weather we've been living through, and I'm like, this could be the year we can cross off ice racing. Well, who am I kidding? Cross off ice racing. This is the year we could go ice racing for the first time of many.
Right?
That's been horrible
Never
weather
mind
since we
it.
started watching it. So if somebody's listening and they're looking to either help your team or join the team or participate, is there a way for them to get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, so we have a website, warriorstoRacers.com. That's usually the best part. And then I think we also have a Facebook page they can go to.
Awesome. And
So
that's
tell
all.
us.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is that all with AER or is that multiple?
We've done Ed has mostly done AR, so that's what we've focused on up to now. But as we're starting, we've got the Miata. We've also got now a Fiat, one of the little
Oh,
Fiats for HPDEs, so we can throw guys into the Fiat for HPDEs.
They've already served. They don't have to do that anymore. They're done, right?
yeah.
Sorry.
Why are you making them suffer? That's where PTSD comes
It's
from.
actually a
honey.
fun
That's
little
that's the new PTSD.
right. Yeah. It's actually a fun little car for an HPDE. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not fast at all. You're going to get passed by
Yeah.
everything, but
No, that's the only B spec car that we're aware of that just they've given up trying to give a balance of performance for it because they just
let's just show something creep.
they
Get
just
by
can't.
something else.
It's like you have made the wrong choices. Their balance of performance. So.
Yeah.
So how much reception have you had with your racing with veterans? Have you had a lot of feedback? Have you had a lot of people interested to coming in?
Yeah, we've had a decent amount of people that have come and joined us, and we've got people from all over the country too, which is kind of the nice part. We've got people down in Texas, Illinois, Michigan, obviously in the Virginia area. We've got several people, bunch out in
So
California.
you're linked with a group.
Yeah,
Oh, like a foundation.
yeah, we're actually we're associated with Resilience Racing, which is a actual 501c3 and all that jazz.
Wow. So
That's awesome.
has it been quite interesting when you have the news, the newbies come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and has it been exciting? Has it been thrilling?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a few people in the group that have a decent amount of experience,
Okay.
which is kind of nice. Like one guy who was out with us last year, he's a former motorcycle racer.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, now I want to race for cars. It's like, yeah, that's probably a little safer for you. But yeah, no, it's always fun to get new people out to the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
So are they
And
good?
isn't it really, really great when they come off the track and it's like that first look on their face going, that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
For any new driver,
Indeed.
Hmm.
So do you have your schedule set up for that team yet?
We do not.
Okay. Well,
So I have
we'll
to- I have
keep
to poke
watching.
To poke Ed.
Okay, that's not a
He's
problem.
busy, but
We have a schedule. Miss Vicki doesn't know what it is because I gave up waiting for her, so I made it myself.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's still early January. We're still fine.
Hmm.
So we well, let me rephrase. At least this part of the we on our team loves Excel, loves goals. So always has goals by the bushel. And you wrote in saying, "Hey, do you want to hear what ours are?" And I said, "Why, yes, I do." And you said, "Okay, here." I'm like, "No, no, no. We're going to do a podcast on this because I think they help. I think how else do you know if you're going down the right path? Because if you have 6 goals and at the end of a year you look back and you did 0 of them, perhaps you were not focused, or perhaps you chose goals that were way beyond you because Indy 500 probably didn't qualify. So what are your goals, Sean?
Okay, so goals for 2025. It seems weird to say 2025 too. I'm just not okay with that for some reason.
Indeed.
Um, for this or actually next month, and I got this idea from you guys is the Johann Schwartz skid pad training.
That's awesome.
I'm planning on doing that in February. So
I love that.
Yeah.
She did.
That was amazing.
She did.
Yeah.
You're going to need to
should
let
I-
us know how that goes.
Yeah. Also, quick question: should I rent the car or try and take my car down there?
Do you like your tires?
Yes.
Then I would rent a car.
Okay.
Really? Oh, rent his car.
Yes.
Yeah, rent Johan's
Oh
car.
my! We
I'm
had
not
to
saying
share.
go rent the Hertz. I'm saying go rent
Oh
one
my
of Johann.
Right, that would.
I mean, that would
I
be
was like,
funny.
wait, what? No, we actually, when we were down the Johans, we shared the rental, and by the end, like I would say about 3/4 of the day, we actually had the wire band on the inside of the tire smacking the wheel well. It was so bad.
Job well done.
It was job well done.
We wanted to make sure Johann got his money's worth out of those tires, so we did.
Yeah.
And as per usual for the longtime podcast listeners, what happened? Miss Vicki wore off those tires, heard the click, 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 said, "Hey, I'm done," and passed it to her teammate because she doesn't ever break a car. She just gives people broken cars
I don't know what you're talking about.
and penalties. But anyway,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
okay, so Johann, that's a single event.
That's an awesome event.
Easy to do. Should have no trouble with that.
Hmm?
I'll start with the real racing stuff first because that's probably the easiest stuff. I want to do at least 3 events with Warriors to Racers, actual endurance races. So,
Awesome.
improve from 1 to 3 basically.
Do you have any tracks you want to get to? Well, you don't have the schedule yet, so I guess that's
I
not
don't
a fair
have the
question.
schedule. That's. I mean, I would love to do Watkins Glen if that's on the cards.
So,
I've never been there.
are you going to be driving or are you going to be crewing?
Driving.
Okay. Do you have a sim?
Hmm.
I would highly recommend.
I've heard it's a very high risk, high reward place.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll become familiar with these things they call the blue bushes, and
Hmm.
they're very, very hard bushes. Very, very hard.
Almost concrete.
Oh no, they look just like the right behind Miss Vicky's head. They're just blue.
That kind of blue bush.
But see all that green between the gray pavement and the what should be a blue bush.
Yeah.
The Watkins Glen doesn't have any of that.
So it's kind of like the Nürburgring.
It's like, well, you're down south. How about turn 12 at Road Atlanta?
Yeah.
The whole way around.
Oh God.
Anyway, it's a great track. I can't complain. Don't mess up.
Probably do 3 Grid Life events again this year, I think, based on availability of tickets and all that kind of stuff and getting to and from there. Also side event. Last year was the first year I towed.
Oh,
And so
how'd that go for you?
Your actual towing podcast helped. There were still some mistakes that were made.
I mean, learning experiences.
Don't ever rent
Yeah.
a U-Haul trailer to move your race car. That will not go well.
Well, I mean, there's 2 problems with that. One, they're made of depleted uranium and weigh about 70,000 pounds. And
Yeah, there's that.
And 2, they tend to be a little hard on the on and off elevation that you required, and some race cars have some problems with that.
Yeah.
That would be plan B for you, huh?
Yeah, someone almost ripped out the safety connections for their harnesses in their car when it got caught.
Well, you want to hear something funny?
Good news is you can weld it shut.
Yes. True. We didn't realize it on some of the most of the U-Haul trailers, the fender over the wheels will open and fold down.
Yeah.
That makes it really challenging for some luxury mammals to get out of the car. But
I bet.
yeah.
Especially when the door hits it. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the door wasn't even close. I mean, we were probably at a door handle by the time we got done. But okay,
So,
that
yep,
sounds good.
there's that.
Do you know which Grid Life you're going for?
Probably the same ones as last year.
Okay.
Probably do CMP, Lime Rock, and Pit again.
Well, we will be at Lime Rock for sure. Assuming we don't get sick again. And
Hopefully not.
Pit race is really late next year. Yeah, I think we're set for pit race. I think it's in October.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
second week of October or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm doing Hyperfest, and then I want to do at least 2 other DE events just for practice and all that kind of good stuff.
What are you going to be working on?
So my thing right now, and I was listening to Tomo's podcast, and one of the
Awesome.
things
Lizard brains.
yes, lizard brains. And one of the things him and DJ were talking about is the squish, like the squish in the tire as you're going through the corner, and I'm trying to get that more.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So are you aiming for a certain song that the tires will sing? Or are you aiming, how are you going to know you squished?
I was feeling when I was at pit race last year, I was feeling it. There is a little bit of song, but also you just kind of feel like I feel the core more in the rear than I do in the front. I don't know why that is, but it's just a thing. But it just you can kind of feel the car kind of almost not quite skid, but just slide a little bit underneath you.
You'll feel that at Johan's event, I'll tell you that. I would recommend, I would say if that's one of your goals and you're going to Johan's event, which we highly recommend, I would talk to him about it and say, what should I do? And then perhaps follow it up with, I usually feel rear better than front. So what can I do to be better?
Yeah.
Because I, in my mind, with my driving, I feel the rear tires with my butt and I feel the front tires with my hands.
Yeah.
And depending on what car you have, some cars you feel nothing in your hands because it doesn't want to tell you nothing. So
it's like front grip. What do you mean front grip?
I'll tell you when you need front grip. When we hit this blue bush, that's when you needed front grip.
By the way, you needed some front grip back there.
Yeah. You ran out of front grip, sir.
You know that traction circle thing? You're outside of the traction circle.
You made it a square. Your deceleration in the forward direction was much far outside the traction circle. Miss Vicky's like, why are you talking about these damn circles? I still don't know what I'm talking about. She hates traction circles.
I hate what?
Traction circles. Friction circles.
Yeah,
I know. I didn't say you were wrong. I just was stating merely a fact and an observation that you hate them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working on tire squish, and do you have anything else you're working on for your HPDE?
That and I mean, always trail braking. You can always be better on the brakes.
Always.
That last little bit.
I will probably listen to Ross Bentley's quartering masterclass again before next season.
So what would you say? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes, she does.
Go ahead.
I do that. I have like ADD, and it just kind of and I'm just going to apologize now.
I'm just going to get her a shirt that says bulldozer, and that's all.
That's literally my name.
Fair enough.
So what would you say would be your strength and your weaknesses on the track as it is?
I would say strengths. I'm very smooth on the controls.
Okay.
I've had people tell me that in the past, so I think I'm getting much better at feeling the car as it's moving underneath me. Weaknesses, carrying enough speed through the corner. Usually I'm a little bit of an overbreaker.
Okay.
Overslow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Those are the 3 things that were my challenges also. Very much so. And Johann Schwartz will fix that whole feel of the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the time you're done with that, you'll be like, yeah, now I understand.
Just don't do it on the way home.
No.
I don't think my Dodge Durango will drift all that well.
If you put enough of that big right foot in there, you might be able to get a little bit.
Fair.
So one thing, and I'm not saying this is you. I've heard, Sean, not saying this is you at all. I've heard that some people who are really, really smooth are really, really smooth because they're slow. So think about it, especially when you're at the Grid Life event, when you're doing the time trials, depending on what car you're in. Like I used to do the B-Spec with them. I still do. I just haven't done it in the past year. it's a great time to push the limit because the limit's so low.
Yeah.
Because if you're smooth because you're slow, that's not helping.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Yeah, that's my whole thing was when I was driving, I'm like, I like to feel like I'm driving on rails, like really smooth, like kind of coast through. And they're just like, you're slow. That's what they said. I said, you need to be driving that car with a pucker as you're going around. You need to be holding on with a
Yeah.
pucker.
I do want to note that I stayed out of the bathtub for many years by not staying anything when she was on this. Oh, it's like it's on rails. And I'm sitting there going, oh, going in the bathtub if I say anything. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Sometimes you need a little outside critique.
Yep.
Indeed. All right. So we got Hyperfest, two HPDs, 3 Grid Life, Partridge in a Fair Tree, 5 Golden Rings. I mean, 5 races with the vets and Johann's thing. Got anything else for us?
Yeah, I've got a couple other things. So I'm in the middle right now, and I don't want to put a timeline on this because this is probably going to take forever. But I'm doing a schoolie bus build on a short bus.
Oh, nice.
And
for towing?
like one of the things people don't tell you until you start going to the track, it's like driver comfort at the track matters. It actually matters quite a bit. And I'm like, having some place where you can go in and there's like air conditioning is the greatest thing that you could possibly have trackside.
Yep.
And when I think climate control and creature comforts, I think school bus.
It's actually a shuttle bus, but you know.
Okay. All right. Is that just for towing or is that
towing and having stuff trackside basically.
Okay.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
It really is cool.
So my goal is to get that done by the end of probably by the middle of the year, but definitely by the end of the year.
So are you trying to flip it? Is what you're doing?
Flip it? No.
No, he wants to use it.
No. I meant I'm flipping as like you're taking it from being a shuttle bus to like
basically
gutting
turning
it. Like you're going to gut it and rebuild it. I didn't mean to flip it.
Turning it into an RV basically.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this may sound weird. And you having AAR background, you may not have experienced the joy that I'm about to refer to. Are you planning on using this as your tow vehicle, as in driving your car into it? Because we've seen this done.
This is not nearly big enough for that.
Not big enough.
I didn't say we saw it done well. I said we've seen it done.
I think I know the person you're referring to, actually. I may have seen that person at another event once.
It is the scariest, sketchiest thing I think we've ever seen at the track.
But I want the car goes in the trailer, not the bus.
All right. I'm just trying to make sure at what level of idiocy. I mean, what level of your next one? What?
Yeah. No.
Whoops. Said it out loud again. Damn it. This is how I end up in the bathtub. This is how it ends up.
The last 2 things. Speaking of outside input, is I'm trying to get more coaching next year. I'm working with Blaze, which is Dion. I think you've had on the podcast
3 or 4 times. Yeah, Dion's awesome.
Yeah, it's his company that they do online coaching and stuff like that. So I get to tell someone tell me how slow I am. Want to do that this year, and then sim racing.
How many?
At least
are you doing the laps?
Yeah, the laps. I want to get 3 laps reviewed this year. And then sim racing, I've got, see it back there. We've got a rig now, so hooray me. So I want to get out of rookies and end up the year with a 1,000 I rating.
So is that D?
D, I think. Yeah. I figure that's fairly reasonable for a year.
Should be. I'm not saying that there's people who coach sim racing, but there's people who coach sim racing. Perhaps somebody that you said on the podcast earlier that you listened to, Lizard Brains.
He does coach sim racing, but yeah, I figure I might want to get a little bit of seasoning before I get someone to tell me how slow I am.
So is this iRacing?
Yeah, mostly iRacing and Assetto Corsa, because like Assetto Corsa, they have all of the tracks basically on there.
Can I make a podcast host suggestion?
Sure.
Get an hour with DJ and have him help you set up your sim race. It matters.
Mm.
Because so they have an ND Miata on iRacing. We've only done iRacing just for scorekeepers at home, and we have one, and we've driven it on track, and I've driven it on iRacing, and that is not an ND Miata, not a chance. So there's some setup stuff that might be helpful.
Okay, fair enough.
I think if you get the setup right, I think your 1,000's easy. If you don't get the setup stuff, your 1,000 could be a struggle bus. Just a thought. So that's your list?
That is yep, that's the list.
Okay. Well, part of your part of your decision to come on the podcast was you allow us to come up with one. So Miss Vicki, let's huddle up. What do we think? What would make the year complete? What are we missing?
I don't know. He looks like he's doing pretty good. I mean, just the fact he's got Johan in there, that's gonna make him level up. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just that alone.
Okay, so before I come up with my solution, because Miss Vicky's way too nice and she won't say anything. Are you, Sean? Are you racer dude? Like I need to get a PB kind of guy, or are you? I want to go out there, have a good time, maybe get better, like on the lizard brain scale. Are you more towards the lower end of the scale, or are you more towards the high end of the scale? Because I have ideas for both. I just want to know what tailored.
I'm definitely moving to the racer dude part of the equation.
Okay. All right, and you're going to be doing 5 endurance races and 3 time trials, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know your times at the 3 Grid Life events?
I can look them up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you haven't fully gone to full DJ Tomo kind of.
I don't have them committed to memory yet.
Okay. All right. Very well. I think you should add 2 new PBs out of the 3 Grid Life events. The only reason I say 2 is because A, I'm as you know, I'm such a nice guy, and B, there could be some weather stuff. So
yeah.
Okay, so 2 PBs at Grid Life. Nice. I think you're well on your way to a great season, sir.
I hope so.
Oh. And then you got to go see Con. You got to find Con in the Mid-Atlantic paddock.
Yeah, I have to hunt him down. Probably at Hyperfest, but...
Oh, that's going to be impossible to find anybody at Hyperfest. I can find somebody when there's 1,000 people here or when there's 20,000 people here. I'll do the 20,000 people.
Technically, there's only the same number of racers at Hyperfest, but
it's just
all the other people.
Yeah. I get you. All right, he's over in that Honda Challenge crowd, so they're over there ricing it up and having a good time. So
yeah,
good guys. Oh, there are threats that he's going to go back to the big wheel race, whatever that official title is. We haven't been there yet.
Big wheel race?
Yeah, they race.
Oh, yes, the big wheel.
Yeah, they race. What are those tiny tots, something?
Yeah, the hot trucks.
Yeah, the battery trucks are the battery powered.
They have to take the battery out, but it's the truck.
Yeah, those little trucks like Mia had when she was running it. They race it down the hill.
A very steep hill.
Didn't say it was a good plan. Just said
that was a terrible plan. But you have to wear a helmet so you don't kill yourself.
Yeah, helmet, body armor, highly suggested. I will show you a video tonight, my dear. She's like, what are you talking about? Anyway,
no clue.
Crazy people. Yes, just picture like soapbox. Oh, like the cardboard box racing they do at Montage. Just put it on concrete. It's almost the same. You have no facial structure. I don't know if you fell asleep or froze. Anyway, all right, she's not entertained with me. So, Sean, we thank you for your goals. We augmented your goals one time, but the full bonus plan is it's time for the Fast and Furious Storytime questions, where we get to badger you with hopelessly stupid and silly questions that I have an endlessly good time doing. Miss Vicki.
What's that?
Perhaps you should ask a question.
Which is?
I don't know. Maybe we were talking about the Fast and Furious Storytime questions?
Oh, yeah, it is time for the Fast and Furious story time questions. Let's go see. Okay, John, favorite question. What was your first car? What was the worst car you ever had?
The first car that I owned was a 1986 Caprice Classic wagon.
Wagon. Did it have wood on the side?
With the wood faux panels on the side.
Nice. That's spectacular.
It was my uncle's old family car, and he gave it to me for free because they had nowhere else to give it to, and none of his kids would take it.
No, so you were basically, if it's free, it's me?
Yeah, pretty much.
So do we need to ask if that was the worst car, or
that is probably the worst car?
Okay.
Probably the worst car.
I was trying to be polite.
I mean, that's really hard to beat.
Yeah.
I tried to kill that car, but I failed. It would not. It was the car that would not die.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, we can't say the same for any of our race cars. They never do that, but that's a different story.
It burned oil like a mother sucker, but yeah, it would not die.
I can get that. All right, Jennifer, who was not able to attend. Her favorite question is favorite car movie or car from a movie of all time.
Let's see. Favorite car movie would have to be, and it's not even almost a movie, it's more almost a documentary, but Le Mans with Steve McQueen. Yeah, such a good movie. Or such a good and a realistic depiction of racing, which is hard to find these days.
True.
I'm fairly curious how that F1 movie is going to come out. That's coming out this year. I'm going to go see it just because I have to, but
they've got the right people doing it.
They do, but
who knows?
But the whole sequence where he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna make it fast in the corner," she's like, "You're gonna kill yourself," and I'm like, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus, that's not how racing works."
I've got a 15 speed, and I'm going to use it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what we're going with.
How about what is your car number and why?
Car number is 723 or 523 in Grid Life now. So it was 723, and then I went to Grid Life. There's like 723 is not available. I'm like, who the picked that number? Anyway, but it's 23 because growing up, Mickey Mantle, or not Mickey Mantle, but Don Mattingly was my favorite player on the Yankees, and his number was 23. So that's why it's 23. And then I needed to add a third number to it, and I picked 7.
Okay.
So now it's more 523 because someone decided to take 723 at Grid Life. So that's what's on the car. That's what's on the car right now.
Yeah. I was going to say, A, growing up, you weren't watching Mickey Mantle, and B, his number was not 23. So I was very concerned about your head trauma. But anyway, let's see. So one of the ones we don't ask a whole lot, but I think is kind of fun, is you have your perfect track day. What track you going to? What car are you in? And who is your instructor / coach?
Ooh, gosh.
They can be dead, by the way, because we have skills.
Okay. Is this like skills. Any track anywhere?
It's your track day.
Oh, dear Lord.
Why would we ask easy questions?
No, right? Track would have to be the Nürburgring because why not? Car. Ooh. Probably 911 GT3 RS.
Okay.
And then instructor, anyone alive or dead?
Yeah, no pressure.
Why the hell not? Ayrton Senna.
Okay. Can't wait to see what your gas pedal looks like by the end of this instruction series, but that's okay. I think you know a thing or two about how to go fast, so that's not a bad plan.
I hope so.
Miss Vicki.
Yeah, but so what was that car that got away? We all got one.
It wasn't the Caprice.
Actually, it was my dad had an E30, red E30 coupe. And that's the car where I kicked myself and went, oh, dang it, I wish I had that. Because I had manual swap. It was an automatic, and I would have manual swapped the heck out of that thing, and that would have been a fun car.
Indeed. All right. The question that every race car driver gets asked and makes no sense. What is the fastest you have ever driven, and what car, and where or when in Mexico is a correct answer sometimes, depending on,
I mean, I've been literally racing in Mexico, so that is a legitimate thing.
It is.
Baja's in Mexico.
That's true. But I mean, you living in Virginia, I don't know what the statute of limitations is for those crazy people, so I'm not going to say nothing.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, let's see. What did I hit last time I was at VIR on the back straight? I think 128. I think that's right.
That's a fast time for a track.
Yeah.
What car?
That was in the 330.
Excellent. Miss Vicki.
I would say, let's see. Do you have any pre-race rituals?
Pre-race rituals? No, not really. Make sure the car is not going to fall apart.
There you go.
That's top of the list.
Lug nuts attached? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I can see that. All right. You like the tough questions. I could tell by your pleasure at my previous question. So simple, easy, short. What's the coolest car ever?
Oh. Coolest? No pressure. I would have to say it's a tie.
Okay.
Between a Shelby Cobra and what's it? The Ferrari GTO.
Which one? The old one or the 80s?
The old one. Yeah. Okay. 1960s one.
$60 or $70 million amongst friends.
Yeah, this is pure unobtainium.
Yeah, never know. That sounds like a lemons car to me. It's
absolutely.
If I had that much money, that would be one thing I'd say.
The judges would give you such a look. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's when you have a few money and you just sit there and say, I don't care.
Like,
Have you ever owned or driven a car with a bench seat?
Yeah, the wagon had a bench.
No way.
And
if so, story time. Was it uncomfortable?
That wasn't the story I was looking for, but sure.
Well, I didn't want to go too deep on that.
Well, I mean, there's other stories, but was it uncomfortable? Was not where I was thinking. But hey,
I mean, you slide all over the thing, so is it uncomfortable to drive? Yes.
Did you ever armor all that puppy?
Like, you hold yourself in a position.
Did you ever armor all that puppy and go across to the passenger seat while you're going on an exit ramp, perhaps?
It was velour cloth.
Not good for
the upgraded version. It was not the that holds all the
funk. It had real fake wood. Don't mess with me. Anyway, okay. All right. You've been racing long enough. It's time to know. You know the claw game when you go to the beach and you get to throw the quarters in and you pick one. All right. So you have the claw game now. What car have you raced against in the past or could be currently racing against? I mean, not physically right now because I see you're sitting in a chair. But what car would you want to switch into and at what track?
Ooh. Car that I've raced.
That's just so you can't like say, oh, I want the 2021 Mercedes F1 car. So, because honestly, most of our people can't fit in a 2021 Mercedes F1 car.
But what the heck is it? It's the Toyo Tire. I think it's an RX-7. Yeah,
could be. They got a few cars.
I've seen that on the on track in like the Grid Life events.
Mm-hmm.
I could gridded right next to me on Lime Rock at one point. I don't know, Mike. Well, I don't know what you're doing in our group.
Please,
We're the
please
slow
don't.
group. Look at the Sunday Cup cars down here. What are you doing down here?
Why are you in Sunday Cup? This does not seem fair.
This does not seem to compute.
Your tires are much bigger than my tires.
Yeah. I'm like, you're in like unlimited over there, pal. But yeah, that car on like, let's go with Coda since we already go with that.
Right.
That would be fun.
All right. Miss Vicki, you got a couple more?
I do. What was the best driving or racing advice you ever received?
It was actually my very first HPE instructor. He told me the joke about how do you make $1 million racing.
Okay.
You start with 2 million and you end up with 1 million. Now you made $1 million racing. If I had listened to him then, I probably would have done something very different.
Oh wow.
We never said we make smart decisions. We just say we make fun decisions.
Very, very poor financial decisions.
What stays in Vegas? Anyway,
Yep.
what is your biggest aha moment as a driver?
Gosh, that's a good one. Actually, I think it happened. Forget, was it last year or the year before? It might have been the year before. But like the first time, like I actually trail braked all the way to the apex, and I'm like, oh, that thing. That's the thing. That's the thing everyone keeps talking about. They're like trail braking to the apex. What is that? And I did the thing, and it's like, oh, this is a revelation.
So just to follow up a little bit, because I've seen it a few times when I was instructing, when they finally did it, they trail braked all the way to the apex, and they got so excited they popped right off that brake pedal, and I was like, oh.
Like, yeah, that was totally. Like I was just blinking, like no,
that wasn't it.
Okay. Now I don't do that anymore. But.
Yeah. Miss Vicki.
I know. I hear you. I'm trying to figure out what are some of your other hobbies and interests besides racing.
Other hobbies. One would be skiing. I'll enjoy that.
Really?
Yeah.
He likes turns.
Yeah, turns are good. Another one is I do martial arts, Muay Thai, and Judo.
Are you practicing or?
Yeah.
Okay. It's one of our friends who's a racer has had their first race. I mean, their first fight recently, and I'm like, "You're."
Oh yeah, I think I heard him talk about that. Yeah.
Peter Greiberg. He's over in. I think he was on track walking.
Yeah.
So many racing podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it's all like a circle. They all just.
I know. I mean, if you think about it, racing is all just like one big ugly circle, like a circle that I draw, not Miss Vicki. Hers are circles. Mine are, they have sides on them. All right. My next to the last one is going to be, if you had a podcast, who would you want as your first guest?
Ooh.
And I don't recommend starting a podcast just for those home game players.
I'm gonna go with Jeff Brown because he has lots of good stories.
We're hopeful we can get him on. He silly said he'd come on. I just have to pursue it now. Okay, Miss Vicki, last one for you.
Yeah. What was your best experience at the track? And what was your worst experience at the track? Story time.
Let's see. Worst experience.
Something goes sideways.
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty much every time I go for a spin. Although this is a funny spin story from this past season. I was at CMP. I literally just put down the best lap of the weekend, going into turn one, and I'm trailing it in, and I feel the back end start to step out. I'm like, no, whoop, goes around, and the first time I met Adam Jabay was pulling in after going all the way around the racetrack to the hot pits, and he leans into my car and goes, how was the spin? And I'm like, everyone saw that, didn't they? He's like, uh-huh. It's like everyone saw you spin. I'm like, oh God. Because it's like right next to where all the spectators are.
Oh no.
I'm like,
oh no.
Not the first, not the last.
Yeah. And then best. Anytime it's sunny at VAR.
It's not a bad plan. All right, sir. You have reached the end, but I have two to choose from, two new ones.
Ooh.
Should I do the one that Miss Vicki won't get mad about, or should I do the one where Miss Vicki will get mad about?
No,
Your choice. Your choice, Sean.
Miss Vicki doesn't get mad.
No, she just rolls her eyes and shakes her head and sends me to the bathtub to sleep, but that's fine.
No.
You have me so curious. I have to ask for Will.
All right. Very well. We're going to the tub tonight, Sean.
You can blame me. It's fine.
My back will not thank you in the morning, but that's fine. Okay, Sean, you're creating a supergroup. All time, I need one or two vocalists, one or two guitarists, one bass player, one drummer, and if you want keyboards or whatever. See, we lost her already. I didn't even finish the question. She's gone. It's Sean, Bill, and a Miata. Okay, supergroup. Name it.
Oh God, I am so not good at naming.
You can name the band they're in. I don't care.
Okay. God.
You asked for this question. I have a backup if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, let's go with something else because I'm going to fumble this stuff.
Okay.
Get back.
All right. You have a time machine. You have power for 2 trips. One needs to be racing related, and one can be not racing related. Where would you go, and what would you go see?
Ooh.
So we're calling you Dr. Who Condon.
Apparently. One not racing related.
He hates my questions, by the way.
Yeah, there's too many options here.
I mean, you come on the podcast again, I can ask you another time.
It's so random.
I know.
You could punt. You could seriously punt that. If it was me, I'd punt that question.
I'll answer the racing one. I'd probably like to go back and see the first Indianapolis 500. That would be interesting to see.
Be a while back there.
Yeah.
Cars have changed a little bit.
A little bit.
You know, a Sunday Cup car might win.
Yeah, I bet it would.
As sad as that may seem. I'm not saying it might not be faster, but it'll finish. Definitely top 10. That's my thing. All right, we're going to start an argument about that. Okay, so going to go see the first. All right. By the way, your backup question was the one I asked Sam Smith. By the way, I had another one for you. What's the Mount Rushmore of candy, if that fits you better?
Mount Rushmore candy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go M&M's, Reese's
Peanuts?
Peanut Butter Cups.
Peanuts are regular or pretzel or what?
Ooh, regular.
Okay.
Peanut Butter Cups, Snickers bar, York peppermint patty.
Miss Vicky's mom would agree with the York peppermint patty. I know that.
Yep.
Indeed. Well, sir, you made it to the end. You survived some of my stupid questions.
I did.
Why are they stupid questions? Because no one else will come up with them. So when you're dealing with what you got, you get what you get. So in case people want to follow along and see what you're up to, and just in case they were driving and couldn't write down how to follow the team that you work with the veterans, how would they follow along? Maybe find out.
Yeah, so the veterans is at Warriors to Racers. We have a website and a Facebook page, and my personal Instagram is Blue Falcon Racing, so you can find me there.
Thank you.
So my last question, Sean, is the biggest regret in your life volunteering to come on and talk about your goals for 2025 on a podcast?
Starting to become it.
Job well done. We've done our job.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's a podcast. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. It'll be fun. I can't wait to hear how you get along with Johan's team. I think that'll be a ton of fun.
I'm really looking forward to that. That seems like, everyone says it's a level up, so I'm really looking forward to it.
For sure. I mean, Ross kind of gave us that as an idea, and Johan's one of the 2 people he works with in the U.S. if he's not able to do it. So, if he's only got 2 people in the entire country that he deals with and says, "Yeah, this is where you need to go,"
then probably, you say yes. You just say yes.
Yes, sir.
When Ross says this, you say yes.
Yes, exactly.